Let me start this by saying that if you are following along successfully, you feel confident that you can write an HTML list and you can write an HTML table, then you're doing great. The remainder of the tags and items I want to share with you are important, but they're nowhere near as complicated as those things. The exception to that, of course, is HTML forms. We're going to see those in a little bit, but before we can talk about HTML forms, we need to talk a little bit about our overhead tags. These are tags that would appear inside of the head tag, and I'm not going to dwell on these too much. You've already seen title. The new tag that I want you to draw your attention to is style. We're not going to do much with style right now, but that is a setup for talking about CSS in a future chapter. And then there's these two other tags, link and script. Now you can see that I have them in gray text here. That's because the tags link and script here are listed for future reference. Again, not going to do a whole lot with them, but the use of them is so common, I felt like it was incomplete of me to not mention them here. So the link tag is used inside of the head tag to bring in external CSS. And again, that may not mean anything to you right now, and that's okay. And the script tag is used to hold JavaScript. And again, we haven't learned any JavaScript yet, so it's hard, I know, to understand the relevance of all that. So I just want to, in the following video clip here, I just want to share out with you the title tag one more time, which you've already seen, show you how style is used with the understanding that you should just know that the style tag goes inside of the head tag, and I'm going to show you some simple CSS inside of there, but that's just a taste of what's to come. Okay? So we'll do that, and let's jump and do that before I go on any further. Here we are back in Visual Studio Code. We have the table.html file in that we were working in previously, and of course if I open that in the default browser, I have these two columns, author and book, and we have my table as the H1 tag there. To illustrate the use of the style tag, I would say that this, of course, we have the title. I'll say my table example, and that would be the title. And I'm also inside of the head tag. There's the open head tag, the close head tag. I'm going to put in the word style. And inside of the style command, I would put instructions to the browser about how to improve the appearance of these tags. So first, let me just illustrate what title has done. So if I preview that in the default browser, you can see that this is my table example. That's the title. The title tag was inside of the head tag. Of course, that's different from the H1 tag. And nothing has changed in terms of how this page looks because I haven't given it any instructions. Now, you don't know what those instructions are yet. So in anticipation of this, I created my table 2. And here is an example of something you might see inside of the style tag. And you can see that it's a completely different syntax. It's got a different color coding. That's because CSS is a language all unto itself. And all these commands mean it's a way of expressing the idea that I would like you to put grid lines around all these table tags, the table tag, the TR tag, the TH tag, the TD tag. Please put lines around them and don't double up the lines. Let the lines collapse into each other. And again, you should not, if you're feverishly typing these instructions right now, you're missing the point. The point is the style tag goes inside of the head tag, and these instructions are going to govern the way portions of the page look. And now here I have grid lines. So I'm going to get ahead of myself a little bit here, and I'm going to say, what if we wanted to add, say, some space here, say at the end of a Wizard of Earthsea? What if I wanted to add a space? So I could go down into my TD tag, and I could go to the end of the word Earthsea, and I could add in a space, and I could save that, and I could open it up in the browser, and oh, hey, it doesn't look like much space at all has gone in here. What if I put in 2 spaces? I can save that, and I can preview that in the browser, and adding in 2 spaces didn't help. What if I added in a bunch of spaces? Save that, preview it in the browser. Adding in all those spaces didn't help. And if I were to view page source, I could see that they're there in the source, but my browser is ignoring them, because that's what browsers do with line breaks and spaces that are not part of the HTML and CSS language. So what do I do if I want a space, or I really want a space? Well, there's a special way of representing that character in HTML. It's called an HTML entity. And if I wanted to put in a space, I could say ampersand, that's the and symbol above the number 7 on your keyboard, and I'd say NBSP semicolon, and that's short for non-breaking space. Save that. Now, when I open this in the default browser, you can see I have a little space there. And if I put in a bunch of those, I'm going to put in 4. I'll say ampersand NBSP semicolon, ampersand NBSP semicolon, ampersand NBSP semicolon. Put in spaces here, and I preview that in the browser. And now you can see I have more spaces there after a Wizard of Earthsea. So HTML gives us a way of representing special characters that are not, that are not alpha, that are not numbers, and that might in some way interfere with the layout of the page. I'm going to share with you just one more that you might need someday, and I'm going to take these extra spaces out, and I'm going to add in ampersand COPY semicolon, right? So when I type ampersand COPY semicolon and hit save, I can open that in the default browser, and I can see that I have the copyright symbol there. Now, there are a lot more than that, but I think this makes the point that there's a collection of reserved words in the HTML language specification that are used for representing difficult characters. What do I mean by difficult? Well, spaces are difficult because we now know that I could put in a bunch of spaces here, and all those extra spaces are going to be ignored by the browser, and usually that's a good thing, but sometimes it's not. This helps us deal with the sometimes when we really do want multiple spaces. And we have the copyright logo, and we have representations for currency symbols and foreign language symbols. These are all by non-English language, non-Latin character sets. So that's all really handy. So now we've learned about the title tag. I'll put this in here. we've learned about the style tag without really knowing everything that goes inside of it. But that's a place to start. And we've learned about the HTML entities of non-breaking space and the copyright symbol. Okay? Let's review a little bit of that. So to quickly wrap up these tags, these are tags that we would see inside of the head tag. That's what I like to call overhead. And the tags that you should recognize in there are, of course, the title tag, the style tag, and you should be aware that these other tags exist. There's plenty of time to learn about those later. I also demonstrated that ampersand NBSP could be used to represent a space, and that ampersand copy could be used to represent the standard copyright symbol. These two tags are what are known as HTML entities, and there's a lot more, and that falls into the category of things you look up when you need to know. You say, oh, I have this character, right? I need to represent pounds sterling, or I need to find out what the Greek. I need to represent the Greek letter sigma. What can I do? Look it up, right? So you go to Google, you say HTML entity, and then you type in the thing you want, and chances are good you're going to find an entity that matches the character that you need. I think that's enough about that for right now.